Well, that is hands down the best open we have ever had on the Pac-12 playlist. That beautiful voice you heard ringing through the streets of Barcelona belongs to today's guest, Gus Farwell, a former ASU quarterback who lives in Barcelona now and has an absolutely incredible story. Gus, I really appreciate you making some time for us and coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So you and your voice have become this bright light for people who look forward to hearing you serenade them from your balcony every night. Today will be, I think, your 17th or 18th straight performance. So can you just give us a little bit of background on how these impromptu concerts started?
I think it started in Italy, but everyone came out at 8 p.m. and to applaud all of the medical workers, all of these people on the front lines doing all the incredible things, all the real, heroes. So everybody was clapping that day, and I just got a little bit emotional and basically just let out a couple of notes from the end of Nessun Dorma, which is an aria that I know, and the last words of it are Vincero, Vincero, and it's I basically just went Vincero, Vincero, and everybody started clapping. So I just did that. That was it. That was the first night, and everybody cheered again, and it was like, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna win, and then so the next day, my wife and I were talking, and she's like, maybe do a little bit more tonight, and so I did the first verse and chorus, and I didn't even do that much, I didn't even do a whole song. I did half a song. But then people really responded and clapped, and they started chanting otra, otra, which means another. So I sang, and I was completely unprepared for that, and sang a little bit more. And then on the third night, it was kind of rainy and cold. I sang something, and it kind of felt a little bit flat, like I didn't pick everybody up. And I remember going to sleep really disappointed that I'd let everybody down. And I did like a real classical piece that I liked, but they didn't want to hear it. And so the next day, I said, that's it. I'm getting out the speaker. I'm going to put backing tracks to this. And that's when I did the Nessun Dorma track. And people really responded to it. And that was the first night we even did a video. So it was the fourth night that we did a video. And then when we posted it, it just kind of went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask you about that because obviously you're getting the real-time feedback of people who are clapping in the streets of your city for your
Yeah.
performance. But have you been surprised at how viral this thing has gone? And have you gone through and read all the comments on your videos? Because they're amazing.
Yeah, there was one in particular. A lot of people, I think, a lot of people are scared. They don't know what's going on. We're all in unprecedented territory, and I think a lot of us have struggled to express how we feel about it. And a lot of moms, and dads as well, like talking about how they haven't had like a release yet. And just watching the video, I guess, just kind of pulled it out. Like watching a good movie or something, and you're like, wow, okay, I needed a good cry because I needed a release, and that was it. It was all about good crying, like I needed that. So that's what really, really got me.
As a mom who has listened to all of your videos, I would say you're spot on with that assessment
Oh,
of why they're reaching people. It's funny though, Gus. The first time I heard one of your videos, I just assumed that you were a professional opera singer living in Barcelona, but
mm,
that's not exactly the case. Can you just kind of give us a sense of your musical background and how you kind of came into this?
sure. I heard opera for the first time at a friend's party in high school. This music came on, and just the room melted away from me, and I was just so overwhelmed by the sound of it and the passion of it. And then so it started from there. I drove around through my senior year of high school and all my time at Arizona State, singing in my car, singing in the shower. Very, like I said, very humble beginnings. And my teammates picked up on it quick, and then they started making me sing at parties. It was all just a gimmick. It was a party gimmick, But it was really when my wife heard me sing that she said, "What is that?" I said, well, what? I don't know, I'm just singing or whatever. And she goes, no. That's not normal. And I said, okay, well, what do I do? I had no idea what to do. You know, I grew up playing football. You know, you want me to throw a fade route? I can do it. You know, I'm going to hand the ball off. Yeah, great, fantastic. You want me to read a defense? Excellent. But how do I get into opera? How do I do that? And so it's been a process trying to figure that out, because I'm way behind the curve age-wise. I've sung in front of some of the most incredible audiences that I could ever imagine, you know, from Muhammad Ali's Celebrity Fight Night, and it's like the Oscars meets the ESPYs, you know, meets the Grammys, and Tom Hanks pulled out flowers in the middle or after my performance and came up and started throwing me tulips one by one on stage. And that first and only time that I've ever had tunnel vision in my life. I could not believe that Tom Hanks was throwing me flowers. But the problem for me has been all of the entryways into opera are generally reserved for younger people. And so it's been this really kind of weird, but very entertaining and very frustrating journey. And last summer, I just stopped singing. And I hadn't sung for 8 months, not once. And I kind of just accepted, like, maybe this whole thing's over, like this is done. And then a global pandemic broke out. And so the thing I love about this is that it feels like it's coming from the right place. You know, it's not about the business aspect, and yeah, great, all the online attention and everything else. That's great, but it's really about my neighbors. If I can make them forget about the fact that they're locked inside and have been for the last 3 weeks, you know, for a couple of minutes, then that's great for me.
As you sit here 24 years later, you know, half a world away, when you think back about your time as a Sun Devil, what comes to mind for you?
You know, it's a mix. If I'm perfectly frank, you know, there's always been that disappointment of walking away before, like, what was my time. But I've gotten over that and just kind of, I don't know if forgiven myself is the right thing, but it was just the circumstances were so extraordinary that it was just, there was always this kind of, I have dreams that I go back, you know, and I'm suiting up to, like, play and everything else. But what do I think about really when I look back on ASU? I can't believe how lucky I was to be on that team. To, you know, be able to call guys like Jake Plummer, Juan Roque, there's so many, and the non-name guys that everybody knows, you know, the other guys that were you know, just the players and not the stars. And, you know, and Pat Tillman was a good friend. And, you know, my time and my friendship with Pat, I'll never forget. And as years go by, you just go like, man, what an experience, what an incredible group. And I like to say, I think we win the national championship every year, because to go back to Tempe in late October, early November, and be sitting outside in 75-degree weather, drinking beer as we're getting ready to go in the game, I'm like, no, we win every year. That's good enough for me.
I think that's great perspective. Yeah, you're not sitting somewhere in the Midwest in the cold and the rain. You're sitting in Tempe. You know, you're bringing joy to people, one note, one moment at a time. So for all of our ASU Sun Devil fans who are watching at home, there's a rallying cry that I think they would love to hear from you if your pipes are warmed up and you're up for it. Can you send us out?
Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah, okay. I think it goes something like this. Go Devils, go!
Gus, thank you, and have a great performance tonight. We look forward to seeing it out on social media.
No, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. And you know, to everybody out there, keep your heads up. This too will pass.